So the new episode came out 2 days ago on Wednesday. For a new episode of Invincible, season 4, episode 7. And let me just say, people switched up. When I tell you, in the last episode, when Thragg had that moment when, they attacked the Coalition's planet, their home base, started killing a bunch of people, with the Viltrumites and stuff, and Thragg's ships got destroyed by Omni-Man and Mark. And this man yells out for Argo's skull that he's been holding dear and protecting this whole time. And people was like, why does he sound so sweet and soft? Why is he not jumping in battle fighting? And then they just left after attacking their home planet. They retreated. So people started throwing fraud allegations on Thragg, which is crazy. I won't lie, I was a little skeptical because at this point I hadn't read the comics yet. I have now fully read the comics and I know the ending and everything that happens. It wasn't until after this episode that I read everything, but people switched up. This episode, when I tell you, let's just start about how everything goes. So we get a flashback of the Viltrumites in this planet that they have control of. It starts rebelling against them and destroying, certain sites or whatever that they use. And so General Kreeg's like, hey, we have to wipe out, this species so that as a lesson for other species who want to rebel against us. This is when we see everyone when they're younger and still, on planet Viltrum. Data's like, hey, don't we, look up the strength? They have the strength to go against their oppressors. And then Thragg is like, nigga, what are you talking about? That's not true strength. Or I think Thragg said that. But Argo asked for Thragg's consultation? Council? He's supposed to be the next runner-up to be the leader after Argo passes, whatever. And he's like, yeah, we need to wipe them out. So that happens, being concludes, Days kills Argo, escapes, and then this is where we see the Great Purge that happened on planet Viltrum. So the purge that happened was Thragg is now General Regent. There was this dude next to him, this black dude. He was like, we have a sickness in our society, and then he looked and he was like, will you betray me one day? He was like, no, General Thragg, or Regent Thragg, or whatever. And he was like, I don't believe you. Let that nigga settle immediately. And I'm just like, damn. So then he tells the Viltrumites, he's like, dude, I am now leader until we find an heir to Argo. My first command is that there is a sickness plaguing our society. Cleanse it and make sure it doesn't rise again. The second he said that, niggas started looking sideways, left and right, looking at each other like, oh shit. At this point, it really wasn't about plaguing the ideas of Thetis and not wanting to, not wanting to not kill, the people that they're ruling over, do what they want and rule the galaxy. It was just, hey, we want the strongest of the strongest here. If you weak and you can't handle battle, you gotta die. So that's what happened. People just start killing each other. There's bloodshed everywhere. General Regent Thragg comes back out and he's like, alright, stop, it's done. Conquest, stop. Conquest balled up his fist, and Thragg was like, nigga, I'm not gonna repeat myself again. Nigga, Conquest unballed that fist. I'm like, listen, understand, for readers who, or people watching who don't know, and I don't think this is a spoiler, Thragg is the strongest Viltrumite. That's obvious. Yes, Conquest is strong, he's amazing, powerful, but Thragg is the strongest Viltrumite. He's like, imagine the Viltrumites to humans. Think of, it's not to that extreme, but think of like Thragg to them. Thragg is a Viltrumite to the Viltrumites. You feel me? Like he's that fucking broken. So that flashback ends. Coalition's gonna go attack Planet Viltrum, where they've retreated to. And as we go there, you know, there's Mark saying a message to Eve, and he's like, you know, screw that, I'm gonna tell you in person because I'm gonna survive this. They told this nigga Oliver, do not try to fight Thragg one-on-one. No one told none of them to do it. He said none of you do it. He's however strong you think you are, Thragg is stronger. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's not an estimate. That's just a fact. They told Oliver, nigga, don't run in alone and think that you're going to piece him up or do anything. We'll get back to that later. They get to the planet in orbit, and there's rings around the planet. Now the rings are the dead Viltrumite bodies that died due to the Scourge virus. They felt like, hey, it should be a reminder of, you know, your weakness, and that you need to have more strength when you leave planet to Viltrum, and that this could be you. Make sure this isn't you. So the rings are the dead bodies of the people who died during Scourge virus. Probably some who died during the purge, who knows. But little do we know, as they pull us to the planet, Thragg is floating in front of the planet. He wasn't gonna wait or out. No, nigga was ready. He said pull up. Little do we know, the other Viltrumites, they're hidden inside with the dead bodies. They're the rings of the planet. So then they pull up behind the Coalition. They'll start boxing and stuff. Now, you know, some random 1v1s and then jump is going on. But skip ahead to where shit heats up. Omni-Man, you know, he fends off Anissa at a point. And then he goes for Thragg. I'm talking, he cocks up his fist. And he goes for a punch. Thragg moves. He just slides back like a maybe a centimeter just to dodge the punch. Goes around Nolan and then strikes that man to the earth. Now, I saw a lot of people on TikTok and YouTube making videos about this. They're inaccurate, okay? For people to say, damn, Omni-Man was really hurt by that, or damn, that did so much damage. No, it didn't. And I'm not saying Thragg's weak. I'm not saying it wasn't crazy. It was. But when Omni-Man got up, he didn't seem fatigued. He wasn't out of breath. There wasn't like scratches or bruises or blood on. Like, he was fine. Because he got up and then started having a conversation with Thragg. No, that the punch did damage, yes, but it didn't do the exaggerated damage that people were saying it did. No, not at all. And started talking. Thragg genuinely wants to convince him to come back and be a part of the Viltrum cause. Because he knows he'll be a great ally, and he still at least stands for Viltrumite surviving. He doesn't want to destroy his race. So, you know, they have a talk and everything, and then he's like, dude, look at why we failed. And I'm not gonna lie, this ideology was good because, and you can find out by the end of the episode, Thragg genuinely loves the Viltrumites and wants their survival. He's not just trying to be a conqueror and a ruler and take over. Yes, he wants that, but he genuinely cares for the Viltrumites and them to be a surviving race in the galaxy. Now, Omni-Man believes, hey, they tried it, they failed, everyone's against them, they're hated, etc., etc. They need to change. Thragg is like, dude, we can rebuild all of this. And Omni-Man's like, no, and they start floating towards each other. I knew this. I thought this was about to be the fight of the century. I thought they was about to box go hand for hand. No, nigga. Again, Thragg loads up this punch, starts airbending some fucking wind. Mind you, he's just calling him out. He's not moving. He's not doing any anime. No, he's just holding it stiff, cocking back his fist, and the power that's emanating from this punch that's about to strike Nolan airbends and pulls him into the punch. In the same way that he hit him down, through to planet Viltrum, through the atmosphere and burned up, the same thing happened when he hit him up. The same thing. Only this time, there wasn't planet Viltrum to stop him. So he hit one of the Viltrumites on the way up, kept going through the rings, and mind you, during all this, I think Mark had like a conversation with someone, or something happened. Oliver got hit again. Okay, let's go to that. Oliver, he's spinning off this Viltrumite, and then he charges at Thragg with this fucking joke. Hey, Black Hole called, they want their suck back. Oliver, you're telling me the whole time on the show when they're telling you, don't push Thragg one-on-one or alone. You were thinking of a joke, and that was the best one you came up with? And not only that, that was going to be your punchline for when you attacked Thragg alone, which you were told not to do. So, obviously, he gets his chest wrecked. Thragg grabs the punch, crushes his hand. Oliver tries to fly away instantly. Thragg grabs the fuck out his other arm and then, boom, smashes his face off. Bleeding and shit, he's unconscious, floating away. Mark, he's in a chokehold by another Viltrumite. He breaks out of that and then goes to try to help Oliver. Thragg grabs that nigga, says, no, nigga, you're not about to help him. And he's like, that's not even real, brother. He's not even real Viltrumite. He's not like us. Enter. They not like us, nigga. And then Mark gets the audacity to say, I killed Conquest, I can kill you too. Buddy. Mark, yes, you did kill Conquest. But if you didn't chokehold that man to death, there was no other way physically possible you were killing Conquest. It's not like you beat him in hand-to-hand combat or in a fight or in a challenge of speed or strength. You beat him in a battle of will. Your will to kill him, regardless of you dying after, was stronger than his will to escape you. That is how you killed Conquest. You didn't beat him in a fight in raw strength or nothing like that. Don't use this. Don't use that as a feat when you didn't really kill. You understand what I'm saying? So the other Viltrumites are looking like, huh? That nigga killed him? And mind you, before this, bro, he's getting hit by Anissa. He's getting hit by random Viltrumites, probably looping or something. I'm like, bro, again, you said that, but you're getting hit by these other Viltrumites. If I was you, I wouldn't be saying that. I'd be thinking, I'll be putting you back on Fraud Watch. He still is not off Fraud Watch to me. I don't know why everyone took him off. He hasn't been off to me until Intrum dies. He's still on Fraud Watch. He still got some work to do. So we get the Anissa stare. I'm not gonna really tell you guys what that means, but it does mean something in the comments. I know everybody on Instagram, Threads, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere have been basically spoiling about what's going on. I won't say it here. But after that, Thragg says, show me. So Mark charges towards Thragg, this punch, straight to his dome, and all Thragg does is lean his forehead forward with his crisp lineup and takes the punch. And you know what we see? Hold up. So I'm gonna pull it up for you. Do you know what the fuck we see? Truly one of the most craziest things I've ever seen in my life. We see this demonic ass impact frame. This nigga's a demon. This is when niggas really know. this nigga's a demon. That was the greatest part of the episode to me, was this right here. That's when you know this man was built for fighting. You don't pull up on him with the kind of strongest person, the, you know, little, oh, he got, like, no, you pull up with the person who is on his level. If you're not, don't even go near him. So we see that demonic ass impact for him, right? Mark's hand hurts from punching this man's head. Like, he didn't do damage to Thragg. Thragg did damage to him. Mark, that's your sign to leave. That is your sign to leave. Thragg says he's not impressed. He boots that nigga away. During all of this happening, all the stuff I just explained that just happened, Omni-Man's still flying. Omni-Man is still flying. Now he hasn't come back yet. Wait, because as he goes to chase after Thragg goes to chase after Mark, Battle Beast comes in and tries to be like, okay, this is my final battle, you know, the one I've been waiting for. Thragg says no. He goes behind Battle Beast and takes his like jetpack thing that he was using to, like, you know, navigate through space off, rips it off, and then flings Battle Beast through the rings, the dead bodies, the dead Viltrumites of the planet. And that's when we see Omni-Man flying back in. And he's like, hey, everybody, form up on me. They don't know what's going on. I didn't even know what's going on at this point. Even though I read the comments, I forgot that this happened. But he's like, hey, everybody form up on me. So then they're all flying towards the planet. He's like, Space Racer out front. That's when Mark realizes, dude, he's about to have Space Racer shoot a hole through the planet. And then they're all gonna go through the hole and, like, you know, with the force of them flying, destroy the planet. Mark realizes that, and he's like, no. He's like, dude, we have to. Thragg realizes this, he's like, hell no. He starts flying through them, trying to stop him. They eventually get through, you know, destroy the planet and everything, and not like that. They just like, hey y'all, this is your sign, Viltrumite, just surrender. Your planet is no more. And then Thragg is like, nigga, I choose death. Not my death, but yours. He breaks open a rock and speed blitz through it and rips Data's head from his body. Mind you, he speed blitz all three of them, because not only did he do it before Data's reload was happening, when he had a hold of Data's, Mark and Nolan still hasn't even turned it. They're still staring where the direction the Thragg came from. The only reason they even turned, their heads got forcefully turned from the force of Thragg grabbing Thetis at that speed. Which is fucking crazy, by the way. He rips Thragg's head off. Grabs Omni-Man, starts flying through space, punching him, saying, dude, I gave you a chance, I gave you, you know, your one opportunity at redemption, and you said no, so now you gotta die. So him and Omni-Man going at it, really it's just Thragg whooping his ass. Mark comes in, tries to save him. When, like, Mark was flying and trying to save him, and Thragg was just like punching him back and forth and then catching him. It was almost like when Oliver was chasing to try to help Mark, and Conquest was just punching him back and forth through the air, and like Oliver couldn't catch up. It was literally, it reminded me of that scene a little bit. But he eventually grabs Thragg. He has him in his arms, and he's like flying away with him. Thragg immediately gets out of that. He like elbow checks him and then uppercuts him away. Goes back to Nolan and starts whooping his ass again. Mark stops him, I think, and then he hits him in his neck or something. And then that's when Mark is like trying to breathe. He's like choking or something. Omni-Man charges that motherfucking Thragg. I don't know why I can't remember his name. He breaks his elbow, or like part of his arm, the back of his arm, all to where you can see the bone and meat and everything. Pushes that nigga back, his eyes all fucked up, and then Mark is like, "Dad, how do we defeat him?" Nolan gets interrupted, but I want you to know what Nolan's about to say. He's about to say, "It's funny. That's a neat thing, Mark. We don't." In the comics, he actually got the words out, if I remember correctly. But General Regent Thragg is born and raised from the moment of his birth to be the strongest Viltrumite. Second to no one. No contest, no competition. He is number one. You're not supposed to be able to beat him. They were not going to win. Whether they all jumped him, whether it was them and Thetis, whether it was them and out, it doesn't matter. They were not going to win against Thragg. It was physically impossible. It was an impossible task. So no one gets interrupted by Thragg putting his, the famous Viltrumite shot through his body. He's flown down into space, all bloody and everything. Mark charges at Thragg. Thragg heads above him, knocks him like kind of unconscious, and then starts squeezing his eyes out. And then he can literally kill him. He has his face and his head in his hands, and he can just watch him and just kill him. But he looks at Planet Viltrum and looks back at Mark, and then General Craig and the other Viltrum, he's like, "Dude, do it. He destroyed our planet." And Thragg is like, "Silence." He tells him he doesn't do it because there are already a few too many. Like, they've lost so many Viltrumites due to the Purge War, the Scourge virus, and then the war against them right now. Like, they've already lost enough. He's not trying to lose more. Because, like he said earlier to Nolan when they were talking, when the Viltrumite dies, it truly leaves a void in his heart. He truly cares about the Viltrumites. Now, he lets them go. They fly away. Mark and Nolan get rescued by Alan and everybody, eventually. Here's the thing. So, Mark wakes up. He's like, "Alan, where's Nolan and Oliver?" Oliver's in a healing tank. Nolan says, he was like, "Dude, I woke up yesterday, and Oliver's gonna be healing for a while." But my thing is this: for people that want to say Mark has reached Nolan's level or anywhere close to that, shut your mouth. I want you to shut your mouth. I want you to shut the fuck up. Because understand this: the worst Mark got was his eyes gouged out and some maybe bruises or internal damage, etc. Nothing aside from his eyes, nothing visible that you could see on his body. He didn't even have blood coming out of his mouth or anything. Omni-Man had a hole through his body, his arm hanging off. Like I said, there was bone and meat you could see. And he woke up a day before Mark. How does that happen? How does the man who has a hole in his body wake up for you, who your greatest injury was you getting your eyes gouged out? Don't ever say that Mark is on Omni-Man's level. He is not. He is not. He is not. He is not. Okay, let's just get that out the way. He's not on Omni-Man's level in any way, shape, or form. At least not regenerative-wise. Because he regenerated way quicker and woke up way quicker than Mark did. So anyway, Alan announces that he's now the leader of the coalition of planets due to Thetis dying, and they have an issue is that they're trying to find the Viltrumites, but they've been searching sector by sector and they can't find anything. It's like they just disappeared, there's no trace. And Mark starts making some weird looks, and then Alan's like, "Mark, what's going on?" And he's like, "Dude, they gone to Earth." So, next episode, apparently Viltrumites are going to Earth, and they're going to try to, get there, because apparently Thragg's about to do a demonic shit to Earth. Because that's a planet they wanted to conquer this whole time and procreate. So that's going to be happening next episode. It's a great episode so far. I wish the thing is that I wish there was some more like, you know, one-on-one fights or stuff we could see. Because the thing is, you have to remember these are supposed to be the strongest of the strongest Viltrumite, because everyone else is dead. These are people that survived the Great Purge. So like seeing them like just blindly charging at Alan or something and then getting weaved and then punched, it's just like, I thought you guys were supposed to be the best of the best. Yes. Like, I want to see some crazy shit. We were like, this threat of the Viltrums was like so hyped up, and like they're seeming underwhelming to make Thragg look more OP. And we can't get a good 1v1 with Thragg because he's so above everyone else. And then it made me think, the Coalition of Planets is dumb. Because why the fuck? Before Nolan joined the war, mind you, they had no knowledge of the fact that there were 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites. They thought there was a whole planet of them. Why the fuck were y'all gonna attack an entire planet of Viltrumites? Mind you, billions died during the Scourge virus. Billions. So you didn't have that information, and you pulled up on a planet of billions of Viltrumites. What were you guys gonna do? The Coalition, it could have been the whole galaxy against them. You're not winning. You're not. Maybe they just knew that there were only 50 because he's the one who did the Scourge virus and he knows he killed a lot of people. Maybe he knew, so he was just kind of leading them without telling them, really. It was a guarded secret, but then Nolan exposed everything. But like, Alan, none of you guys knew this shit. You guys thought you were going to recruit Mark, recruit Nolan, all these people, and you were just going to have, you know, Speed Razor, these Ragnars, and just annihilate a whole planet of Viltrumites. What? You would have lost in less than a day. You would have lost in the first few hours of the war. The only reason you had an upper hand is because there were only 50 of them. If there were billions, even millions, even thousands, hundreds, you were losing. Sadly, it would have been embarrassing. To think that they thought they could win? Whatever. Regards about this episode, when Oliver wakes up, when you guys get back to Earth and sort that out, leave that nigga at home. Hopefully he's learned his lesson to not charge at very strong people. You thought he would have learned it with Conquest. Twice, by the way. When he almost got stretched to death on planet Earth, and then when he was whooping his ass in space when they met up again. But the nigga doesn't learn. The nigga doesn't learn. Just leave him at home. Because I don't know what's wrong with that man. He's stupid. There's something I want to say about Tech Jacket though. She's on Fraud Watch. She's on Fraud Watch. You wanna know why? She has not done anything significant in this war at all. The only thing she has done: healed Space Racer's helmet, fired darts that weaken Viltrumites in their durability, which, I mean, granted, anyone could have done. They could have made a gun, but Tech Jacket was the most realistic option to implement the darts into, obviously. And that's it. She hasn't done anything noteworthy. And then, after there was a Viltrumite, Alan was like, hey, quick, shoot a dart at her. She shot the dart and missed, and then her suit told her she was out. She charges up this double beam and fires it. The Viltrumite dodges it, but this beam goes through the rings. And I mean, it makes a hole in the rings. These are Viltrumite bodies. And it goes through multiple of them. Where's this beam been the entire fucking war? Is this one that takes up so much power that you just, it's a one-time use and you can't really use it every time? Or like, where was this beam? It looks so powerful, and I'm just like, why have you not used that before? Another thing, Space Racer's OP. And this nigga was funny. You know what happened is that after playing Viltrumite got destroyed and Thragg was going off fighting Mark and them, Alan got amped. He was trying to escape with a Speed Racer and Tech Jacket. He got pulled up on by 3 Viltrumites, Krieg, Lucan, and some other dude. And he was like, "Hey, I know you're a little surprised, confused about what just happened, but no hard feelings." And then he sees Space Racer flying by. He's like, "Yo, Space Racer, come help a nigga out." Space Racer, he's like, "All right, yeah, I got you." He starts pulling up with the gun, and then immediately 2 Viltrumites jump in front for set the screen. I was like, "Nah," and then he was like, "Yep, let me turn out of here, buddy. I can't help you." Not gonna lie, Alan, he was fighting his heart out. Alan, he be having some moments where like he's getting beat and then he catch a hand or like weave or something, and then he do some combos and it's like crazy good. But Space Racer, bro, Space Racer, his beam is OP. Because even when they were actually escaping, and this dude had grabbed onto his like motorbike or space bike, she pulled that Infinity Ray back out and was like shot that nigga, and that dude instantly died. And then it was so crazy because after that, Krieg, he saw it happen and he didn't want to chase out. He's like, "Damn, this nigga's like, it's not fair. This nigga got a gun and can just one shot Viltrumites." He didn't even want to chase after him to the point that he yelled. And mind you, he already has a broken arm, so it's like, if he goes after it, he's just gonna get one shot. So that kind of sucks. Let's see, who else is in the fight? Yeah, just pretty much just them. Mark, Nolan, Data's Tech Jacket, Alan, Space Racer, and Oliver. Oliver, you really need to learn your lesson. I hope you've learned it too. I hope you learned that you should not pull up on anyone that is strong, anyone that's attacking, anyone that's able to fight with Mark. You cannot hang with. You cannot, and you should not be pulling up on them, especially alone. Especially alone. When Angstrom comes, Mark, you don't jump in. I mean, not Mark. Oliver, you don't jump in. He will do some stuff to you pretty badly. And Mark, you better handle that. You better handle that. So I know he got some demonic shit planned. Next episode coming out next week on Wednesday, man. That shit gonna be lit. It's the finale too. After reading the comics, I don't know how many seasons there's gonna be. People were acting like so much stuff is gonna happen next season. I don't know why I'm thinking like it's gonna be filler or some shit. Cause like there's so much to adapt, and I feel like if they did it in like the way of doing 8 episodes a season, it's gonna be rushed, and I don't want it to be rushed. You know what I mean? But there's some good stuff coming up. There is one fight I know a lot of people are anticipating and can't wait to see it animated, and I hope they do their due diligence with this fight. Make it a long one, no cuts. Give us a all-out one for the books. And then there's one scene where people don't know if it's going to get animated or if it's going to make it in show or not because of the controversy against it. I don't know why it wouldn't. Not to spoil anything, but like this happens in other media. This is a R-rated cartoon. Why wouldn't it happen? I don't know. Yeah, that's my rant. Till next time. See you guys. Take care. Peace. I'm out here. My thing is, Mark, like, dude, you're supposed to be